Mental health is clearly not just a clinical or policy matter for practitioners and the government respectively. It is emerging as a key social issue that affects a growing number of individuals and their families. But public awareness has to be raised in order to make clinical and policy solutions effective.
If you have contact with policymakers and officials who will say mental illness is not a priority because we're going to focus on killer diseases, that's wrong. 14% of avoidable deaths are attributable to mental illness.
Beyond being disabling, depression is really a major contributor to suicide deaths, which number close to 800,000 per year, a staggering number.
On average, people are dying about 10 years younger than their counterparts in their same communities who do not have a mental illness.
As soon as we put down a boundary, you create a separation, and that's a gap. It's what causes the problem. Inevitably, it leads to us and them, you, not me, health and illness. And that's the creation of that gap is what leads to the fertile ground within which stigma can emerge and grow and develop.
If one person with a mental health problem talks to somebody who doesn't know anything about mental health, it changes attitudes, it changes behaviours, and it's hugely important.
What was more striking to us was the amount of people that realised that they had experience of stigma themselves, or they knew someone really close to them, or someone at all that had experienced it. And that shows that this is a problem that we are all facing. It is not that there's only a certain number of people experience it. Everyone knows someone who has experienced mental health stigma, and we really want that to change.
What is unique, I think, about this conference is that it involved people from so many disciplines.
I've sat there and witnessed these world-leading experts speak. These people share their individual stories.
We've got scientists here, neuroscientists, we've got psychiatrists, you've got a Buddhist nun.
It's brave. There's a lot of people put their hand up and say that they care about this and that they want to do something about it.
You can't put mental health into one category. It's the nature of the human.
Society has a duty to help its feeble members. This is the very definition of civilization. Civilization depends on how much you do for those who are not able to look for themselves.
This is truly a multi-level, multi-layer, long-time horizon problem demanding complex, multifaceted solutions.
This is something that requires partnership, leadership, commitment, bravery and courage from time to time in terms of really being prepared to stand up and talk about our own mental health experiences and tell our own mental health story.
When I leave this conference, and hopefully when you take some kind of change from the conference, that we all think really hard about what we could do in our own lives, that we really think, I could not have done any more to change my family, to change my institution, to change what I do, then we will get a big change in behaviour.
I hope as well that your discussions help advance the opportunities and the lives of all those who have been affected by the stigma of mental illness.
Why haven't the public been more outraged about this? Well, again, that's partly, I think, to do with the stigma, but it's also because I think collectively we've failed to tell the story well enough.
It's very important that we don't let cultural taboos, which may have had good reasons 200 years ago, from stopping us changing the way we think about mental health.
The studies that have been done on this show that 20% of people in developed countries perceive depression as very stigmatizing, but it's actually higher in the developing countries, so 30%.
It is only by directly talking about mental illness that we can begin to develop a positive culture in our community.
This is a long-term campaign. You cannot change stigma overnight. It will take years, but it can be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, thank you so much for joining us here today on the second day of the Hong Kong Mental Health Conference.
The central, main obstacle to everything that we are doing in the field of psychiatry is the stigma.
My own father recently died. He had Alzheimer's disease. My 86-year-old mother was his primary caregiver. And my family is hardly an unusual story. According to the World Health Organization, you probably know these statistics, but they're worth bearing in mind. 1 in 4 people worldwide will be affected by a mental or neurological disorder at some point in his or her life.
Many of my colleagues from the Department of Health attend the meeting, and I'm sure we will take home a lot of the good experience and practices overseas in formulating the future plan for Hong Kong.
But ultimately, we all have to work together to break the silence and the stigma so that people do seek help. And importantly, when they do, that help is available regardless of where they are in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Hong Kong Mental Health Conference Public Forum. This is the third and final day of this event.
It was a wonderful event. People are warm-hearted and everybody came out with high energy. That's the best part of it.
I think that it's good to see so many people from different backgrounds and different areas in Hong Kong all sort of sharing the same sort of understanding or the same experiences of mental health.
But the marketplace, as I say, continues downstairs. There are dogs, there are rugby players, there are NGOs down there, the speakers will be there, and it's an opportunity for all of us to be able to chat to one another.
Mental health should be something that we pay attention to every single day in the same way that we pay attention to our physical health, in the same way that we exercise and we eat well and we look after, you know, the people in our family. We should be looking after ourselves emotionally.
Go and talk to your work colleague or your school colleague. Just talk to them about what you've heard today. And if you do that, you'll reach another few people and they'll reach another few more people. And by doing that together, we're just going to change the way that people think about mental health.